Hello everyone. Spark the Electric Jester is an indie 3D platformer that was released August 14th, blah blah blah, you've all heard this before. What I'm interested in is how the game's legacy has continued to grow 1 year later after its release. Spark 3 is a momentous game not only because it's by far the most popular and far-reaching one in the franchise, but also because the Spark series as a whole has grown tremendously after the release of this phenomenal game. People all over have been applauding it as one of the best 3D platformers ever made. People have said it's better than the mainline Sonic games, a true return to 3D speed platformers, etc, etc. I've made quite a few videos praising this game to high heaven, and it's still one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely up there. The amazing levels, outstanding game design, and beautiful OST definitely makes this game a classic in my eyes, especially during a time when I was playing lots of fantastic indie games on the market. The fact that one man, one game developer, can create such an awesome world, an awesome experience all by himself, really speaks to the amount of hard work and dedication that Lake Fepard has put into his craft. His passion and his work ethic, it's definitely a huge inspiration to me as an inspiring game developer. My personal journey with Spark the Electric Jester started around the time when I was in my Sonic craze. I had just played the brilliant fan games of Sonic before and after the sequel, and something about Lake's level design, the way he crafts worlds and levels, the gorgeous visuals that bring each of them to life. It's insanely talented. The OSTs that accompany these games were also stellar, with them sounding damn near professional at times. It was truly a sight to behold, and simply left me awestruck and enamored till this day. I just had to get more. So when I heard that the same guy who developed such polished and beloved Sonic fan games created his own IP that mimics the likes of Sonic, alongside Kirby and Mega Man, two other iconic platformers, I simply had to play. And play I did, with Spark 1 being one of the first games I played through on this channel. With the likes of Freedom Planet and Sonic Mania being out at the time, I don't know why, but something about Spark just stood out to me as different. Was it the goofy character designs? The nonsensical story? Or the amazingly done OST once again? I didn't know. But one thing I did know is that I had to play more. I needed to experience more of this little jester, and in doing so, it provided me with one of the finest 2D platformers I had ever played. Spark the Electric Jester 1, to this day, is still my favorite 2D platformer of all time, and I don't even think it comes close. It's definitely one I played the most, that's for sure. And I played games like Celeste, Hollow Knight, and Sonic Mania, of course. So when I heard that the same guy who made that masterpiece was following in the footsteps of so many other retro platformers in that era and going 3D, I was simply ecstatic. Now, Spark the Electric Jester 2 is a game I have quite the mixed opinion of. On one hand, the game is a pretty decent 3D platforming experience, all things considered. I don't think it's worth that $20 price tag, but I think for what it's worth, it's a pretty fun and competent gaming experience. That being said, with the existence of Spark the Electric Jester 3 and its DLC, which ports all of Spark 2's stages directly into the game, I almost feel as though the entirety of the second game has been made irrelevant, as almost anything you could possibly want in the sequel is done in the third game, but way better. You can play as Spark, the momentum-based platforming and combat is far more polished, and the same cool stages that are in the second game are in the third installment, for free at that. Only thing I could possibly think of is the bosses in Spark 2, but those are some of the worst in the franchise in my opinion, so not much is lost there. My whole point in saying that Spark 2 left a lot on the table for Lake to improve upon, and oh boy did he improve upon everything that Spark 2 introduced to the series. He took the amazing controls and gameplay for the first game, the ambitious storytelling and chaotic characters from the second game, and combined them with a banger soundtrack and truly stunning levels to create one of the finest 3D platformers ever released that year. Spark 3's entire thesis is that it is the definitive 3D platforming experience. The game has the fast-paced platforming, the intense chaotic battle system with great bosses to accompany it, the thrilling exhilarating soundtrack that hits on all of the good genres from soft rock to techno to even hip-hop, and the absolutely crazy and chaotic storyline that is so over the top and surreal that it feels ripped straight out of the 2000s era. Spark 3 is the definitive statement that this game, this franchise, will no longer need to stand in the shadow of greater giants in the gaming industry. It has finally crafted and carved out an identity of its own and wears itself like a badge. And what a pretty damn good badge it is. developed from the ground up by just one guy that is passionate for video games, a passion for Sonic, that franchise oozes style and personality. To take that franchise and use it to inspire your own, that's what makes Spark the Electric Jester such a compelling and memorable franchise in my opinion. It isn't just the games. It's the story of how we let passion inspire us to create truly incredible things, and one person, one extremely talented and passionate person, can create a character, a franchise, that ends on a perfect game that is simply masterful. This trilogy of games and experiences is a legacy that makes Spark the Electric Jester such a compelling gaming franchise, and it is a franchise that can produce such a phenomenal experience, that gaming experience that leads other people down the road to create amazing things as well. It is that infectious passion that even allows games like Spark the Electric Jester to even exist, and that is why it is still one of the best 3D platformers, one of the best games ever made, 1 year later.